She died on a Thursday, and the night before she looked at me from that hospital bed, and she said 7 words that I have not stopped hearing since. 7 words that rearranged everything I thought I knew about love and time and what it means to truly be with another person. I am 87 years old. I have had 3 years to sit with those 7 words, and I am finally ready to tell you what they were. But first, I need you to understand who she was, because if I just give you the words without giving you Eleanor, they will not mean what they meant to me standing in that room. Eleanor and I met in the autumn of 1959. She was 22 years old, and she was laughing at something her friend had said across a crowded room, and I saw that laugh before I saw anything else about her. Not her face first, not her eyes, her laugh, the complete unself-conscious joy of it. I thought, I want to be in the same room as that laugh for the rest of my life. And for 61 years I was. 61 years of mornings and arguments and children and losses and ordinary Tuesdays that I did not appreciate nearly enough until there were no more of them. Eleanor was the kind of woman who remembered everything about everyone. She remembered your mother's name and your dog's name and the thing you mentioned in passing 6 months ago that you had already forgotten you said. She made people feel seen in a way that is genuinely rare, the kind of scene that makes you stand up a little straighter because someone that good has decided you are worth paying attention to. Our children adored her. Our grandchildren adored her. The woman at the bakery on the corner cried at her funeral, and I had not even known they were close until that moment. That was Eleanor. That was the woman in that hospital room on that Wednesday night. She had been sick for about 8 months, long enough that we had found a kind of rhythm in it, the way you do, the way humans are extraordinary at adapting to things that would have seemed unthinkable before they became daily life. I had been sleeping in the chair beside her bed for the last 2 weeks, not because the doctors asked me to, because I could not be in the other room. I could not be anywhere she was not. That Wednesday night she was more alert than she had been in days. There was something in her eyes that was different, a clarity, the kind that in hindsight I understand was her gathering herself for something. She looked at me for a long moment, and then she said it. 7 words. She said, I wish we had worried less together. I wish we had worried less together. I did not fully understand it in the moment. I held her hand and I said, I know, and I think I was crying, I am not certain. Everything from those hours has a quality of water to it in my memory, soft and moving and not quite still. She closed her eyes. She was gone by morning. And those 7 words have been alive in me every single day since. What did she mean? I have turned it over for 3 years, and here is what I believe she meant. I believe she was talking about the years we spent braced, the years we spent preparing for difficulty rather than inhabiting the life that was right in front of us, the money worries that consumed entire seasons, the career anxieties that followed me home and sat at the dinner table with us uninvited, the health scares that turned out to be nothing but cost us months of peace before we found that out, the future-focused dread that is so easy to dress up as responsibility and so quietly devastating to the present. We worried together. We were good partners in worry. We held each other through it, which was a form of love. I do not want to diminish that. But Eleanor, at the very end, with 7 words, was telling me that she wished we had also let more of it go. She was telling me that the life we were protecting with all that worry was the same life we were missing while we worried. And I have not been able to argue with her. I have tried. In the quiet of 3 o'clock in the morning when you argue with the people you have lost, I have tried to make the case that the worry was necessary, that it was responsible, that it was love expressed through vigilance, and she wins every time. She wins because I can still feel the specific texture of all those worried evenings, the tight shoulders, the distracted presence, the conversations about problems that were mostly hypothetical, while the real, unrepeatable evening dissolved around us unnoticed. I want to tell you about a particular summer, the summer of 1987. Our children were teenagers. The house was full and loud and exhausting in the most wonderful way, though I did not fully recognize the wonderful part at the time. I was worried that year about money, about my job, about whether we had made the right decisions, about the future in the vague, grinding, middle of the night way that does not attach itself to specific problems, but floats over everything like weather. I can barely remember the specific things I was worried about. The details have dissolved. But I remember clearly what I did not do that summer. I did not sit in the backyard with Eleanor on those warm evenings and simply be there. I was there physically. I was not there the way she deserved, the way that summer deserved. That summer happened once. Our children were that age once. Eleanor was 49 years old that summer, healthy and full of life and right there, and I was somewhere else in my own head solving problems that solved themselves eventually without any help from my 3 o'clock worry sessions. Now here's what I want to say to you, whoever you are watching this. I know you are carrying something right now, a worry or a weight or a fear that feels urgent and real and completely reasonable to spend your energy on. I am not going to tell you the worry is not real. Some of it is real. Life has real difficulties, and pretending otherwise is not wisdom. It is avoidance. But I am 87 years old, and I have sat with Eleanor's 7 words for 3 years, and I am asking you something simple. Is the worry you are carrying right now worth the cost of the evening you are in? Is the problem you are turning over in your mind worth the price of the person sitting in the same room with you who needs you to actually be there? Because you cannot get this Thursday back. You cannot get this particular version of the people you love back. They are this age, this version of themselves right now and only right now. If something in what I am saying is landing somewhere real in you, if you are feeling the weight of this the way I felt Eleanor's words, I want you to do something for me. Leave a comment below and tell me honestly. What is one thing you have been worrying about that has stopped you from being fully present? You do not have to share the details. Just tell me, yes, I know this feeling, or tell me what you think Eleanor meant, or just say, I heard you. Because I think you need to say it out loud somewhere. And this is as good a place as any. The comment section is right there, and I read more of them than you might expect for a man of my age. And while you are here, I want you to consider staying. Because what I share on this channel, these conversations, these things I have learned in 87 years that I cannot keep to myself anymore, if this reached you today, there is more where this came from. More stories, more of Eleanor, more of the things that only make sense from this side of a long life. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you do not miss them. Not for me, for the version of yourself in 30 years who will wish you had heard this sooner. You already know the feeling. You are feeling it right now. I want to tell you about the last ordinary day Eleanor and I had together. Not the hospital, before the hospital. It was a Saturday in early spring. She had made tea. I was reading something in the armchair by the window. She was doing nothing in particular at the kitchen table, just sitting in the light the way she sometimes did, the way I never once commented on but always noticed. At some point she looked up and said, "This is a nice morning." And I said, "Yes, it is." And we went back to our separate quiet activities. That was it. That was the whole moment. But I have thought about that morning more times than I can count in the 3 years since she has been gone. The specific quality of the light, the sound of her cup on the table, the complete unhurried peace of two people who had been together long enough to be silent without it meaning anything except safety. That was not a special morning. That was not a morning we planned or marked or treated as significant. It was just a Saturday, and it was everything. What I want you to understand, what I need you to take from Eleanor's 7 words, is that the life you are looking for is not in the resolution of your current worries. It is not waiting for you on the other side of the next problem, or the next milestone, or the next time things settle down. It is in the ordinary morning you are currently inside. It is in the person in the next room. It is in the unremarkable Tuesday that will only feel precious in retrospect, and only if you are lucky enough to still be here to have the retrospect. You will not remember most of your worries, I promise you that. The specific content of what consumed your evenings in 2015 or 2019 is mostly gone for most of you already, but you will remember the mornings with the light coming through the window. You will remember the person sitting across from you who was simply glad to be in the same room. You will remember the Saturday that had no particular reason to matter and mattered more than almost anything else. Eleanor knew this better than I did. She always knew it better than I did. She was better at being present from the very beginning, better at finding the worthwhile thing in an ordinary hour, better at choosing the moment over the worry. And even she, at the very end, wished she had done it more. Let that land. Even the person who was better at it than me wished she had done it more. Worry less, together. That was what she said. Not alone less, together. Because she was not asking me to stop caring about real problems. She was asking us to face them as a pair, and then put them down as a pair, and then turn and look at the life that was actually there. She was saying that the partnership she valued was not just the partnership that got through hard things together. It was the partnership that sat in Saturday morning light together and called it enough. I have a cup of tea next to me as I am talking to you right now. The kitchen is quiet. The light is coming through the window on the left side. Eleanor would have liked this morning. She would have said so. She would have just said, "This is a nice morning," the way she did on that Saturday in spring. And I would have said, "Yes, it is. Yes, it is." If this moved you, tell me in the comments. Tell me about your person. Tell me what their 7 words might be, or what yours would be if you had to choose. I read every single one. And if you are new here, there are more of these conversations waiting for you on this channel. Subscribe and hit the bell. Not because of a number on a screen, because you clearly came here today looking for something real, and I have more real to give. Watch the next one. You will know within the first minute if it is for you. She said 7 words. I have been living inside them for 3 years, and I think I will be living inside them for whatever years I have left. Worry less, together. That is all she needed to say. That is all I needed to hear. I just wish I had heard it on a Saturday in spring instead of a Wednesday night in March. Do not make that mistake. You still can.